Okay, I have started the recording. Now it will be easy.
Okay.
I will share with you the recording date. Okay. So I share. Let me share this. So I am sharing now. So those who have not installed yet the Anaconda, they can go to like anaconda.org. Click on the downloads, which is coming on top. You'll get the option to download. And here you can install Python 3.7 64-bit graphical installer. So download only the 3.7. For me, it is a Windows machine, so it is coming as Windows. Then there are other options like Mac OS if you have a Mac, or if you are using any Linux or kernel OS, then you can use the Linux OS.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Hi, Ghazal this side. Actually, I've joined the meeting late. I got the invite late.
Mm-hmm.
So, what have we discussed till now? Is it only the installation that we are doing?
Yes, the installation. You have the installation of Anaconda at your desktop.
No, I'm just checking. Actually, it's my office laptop, so I've installed on my office laptop once, but I don't remember which version it was.
Okay.
I'm just.
You have attended the previous class.
No, this is the first one. I was working on the. I was attending Ajay's class. That was machine learning.
Yeah, it is the same class. Ajay is not taking today. So I have.
Yeah.
I'm taking. So I think you have taken the previous Ajay classes of
Yes.
which is where we did, I think, Python basics, something on NumPy.
No, no. Ajay only covered till mathematics part, linear algebra and all. Python wasn't started in that class till yeah.
Okay, so there are three people here who have not done the Python. Okay, only
Yes.
two people have done the Python, I think.
Yeah, I think Ajay, you have merged the two separate batches together in this batch.
Okay, because this is,
Yeah,
pardon
yeah.
me, okay, because this is
I
first
and
time I'm
yeah.
taking the online classes. Usually I take
Uh,
the class session, face-to-face class sessions.
so I and Shamsher used to do the basic Python class, and rest of them didn't taken the
Okay,
Python.
only you have taken.
I and that Shamsher that I
Okay, you and Samshir. Okay, Saurav
yeah
and
yeah
Samshir.
Saurabh and Shamsher.
Okay, so what we okay, so this will
I've
be complex to manage. So how we do? Uh, so Samshir and Saurav, maybe I take. I ask you to. Have you gone through one of the site learnpython.org?
Learn Python. Python.org.
Yes.
I have gone, but not recently, but I have gone very previously.
So they are very good part because I am thinking that all the three people who have just joined today to bring them to the same level as you both of you are, so that we can start from tomorrow with the pandas library and everything. What do you think?
Uh, that's not
sorry.
an issue. That's not an issue. We can also join. That's not an issue. It will be a revision for us.
Okay, perfect. Then.
Mhm.
Yes,
I've done Python earlier, but that was the smaller part from Learn X in Y minutes from
Okay,
that
okay,
site a bit, but it has been long. I think 6 to 7 months back.
okay. No issue. So we start from the scratch. We start from the zero, so that you can recall it later and you will be able to learn fast. Okay. So let's go for because other two people are also installing the Anaconda. So let me know once the installation is complete, and then we start with the basics of the Python. Okay.
Sir, installation is complete. uh, like on my system. This is Sarthak.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
So installation is complete. Installation is complete.
Okay, perfect. So I think I also share, let me share again. I share my screen. So I'm sharing my screen now. So once you have installed, then you can have uh, Anaconda. So once you search for Anaconda, this uh, search pop-up will appear, and you can open the Anaconda Navigator from here. Okay. Once you will open the open Navigator, it will open Chrome window. Something like this. It will open. This will be open. Okay, and URL will be something like this: localhost 888.3. Let me know when this window is available to everyone. Yes, Sarthak. And other people who are installing, as an installation completed.
Sir, I am able to see a window where there are 7 tabs. One is of Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, Spider, GlueWiz, like this.
Okay. Yes, sorry, my mistake. Something like this.
Yes. This is what
So,
I am getting.
so then launch the notebook. There is option of
Okay.
notebook. Launch the notebook.
Okay. Yes, sir. Now I got that screen that you were showing earlier.
Okay. Ghazal and other people who are also able to open the uh, able to open the this Jupyter notebook.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Everyone.
just downloading
Okay.
Python.
So Ghazal, I will suggest that you keep one laptop or desktop ready, so that you do not need to search for different installation. And also in this way, you will the code that we are doing will remain on the one machine, so you will be able to access. Else, you may lose the code as well. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Can you just tell me the download link again?
Yes,
I'm not.
I put it on chat. It is anaconda.org.
Anaconda.org. Okay,
Yes.
sure.
So when it
Noted.
will open on the top, there will be option on the header download.
Okay.
So click on the download, and then you will
Okay,
be
sure. I'll download it in the meanwhile. Sure.
download, and there will be exe file, AMG file as per the OS. Take a little while to do all the installation. So
Okay, we can continue. I'll download and start from the same part.
Huh?
So meanwhile, when we open this notebook, usually what happens, it goes to the location. Sometimes we people wonder that where the my file will be created, and what is this location which is open. So for Windows system, it is usually the C drive. In the C drive, we go to the users. In the users, we go to the user for which this machine is. So this is my kid PC. So his name. So it is your login name. So on the login, all the files will be created at this location. Okay. So whatever file are getting created will be created here. So it will be better that you do not put all the code here, or little bit organize your code from the beginning, else it become difficult to keep track that what we are coding. So if you all have the OneDrive, it is coming free, so better to go for OneDrive. In this way, all backup and everything will be there. So in the OneDrive, create your one folder. I have put one folder. I have created one folder, data science project. So you can create the folder from here. Sorry, from here, the folder. So this create a new folder like this. You can rename it. My PRJ something. And here you can put your all code. So in this way, it will remain very organized. So like I have created data science project, and here I have put all my code in each folder. Okay. So you will always also remember that where actually I have put the code. So you can directly access from the file system as well. Okay, I know it is OneDrive, and in OneDrive I have all my projects. Fine. So now once we have created a say data science project and Python syntax, now it is time to do the code. So we need to create one file. So how we create a Python file here? So on the when we go to some folder or this kind of drive, you can click on new, and there is an option coming up is Python 3. So create a new notebook with Python 3. Okay, this is how you can create a Python 3 notebook. It will open a new tab in the browser, and it will give you these many options. Like file, we have the edit, use cells, and kernel, and all this. Okay. And these are the cell in which you can write the code. You can write some code here. Okay, you can write some code here. Some here, some here. This is a good thing. Quite useful that you can put your code in different cell and can run it differently. Okay, is it okay clear that how we create a new Python file?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Clear.
Yes. So please keep unmute yourself and say yes, no, something, so that I am aware that yes, everyone is listening and we are not disconnected. Okay. And good thing about here is that you can run different cell in a different order as well. Now remember how to track that what cell you have run. So there is a number which is appearing here. You see this 1, then it is 2, then it is 3, and then it is 4. Okay, this is just to keep the track that which cell is run when. Now if I run it again, cell number 3, the number will change. So it is 5 now. So we can say it is first time it is run this, then this, then this, and then this. This is one of the way to keep track to know that which code is run first and which is later. Okay. So I did not put anything to this. This is the error which is shown just below the each cell, that what kind of issue is there. Perfect. And sometimes it happens you need to put the comment, so you can put hash, and this is a comment which is there. Using the hash, we do the comment. If we need to do multi-line comment, then simply 3 times quotes, and this is another way of doing the comment for the multi-line. Okay, quite easy. Comment is really important. Another way to do the commenting is you can put the cell type. It is code, markdown, raw NV, or heading. So usually when we put the markdown, it means it is the way we do the code. So if I put the hash, it will automatically become the bold. So this is a way to beautify your notebook and nothing else. Okay, so let's go to the syntax part, the basic syntax of the Python. We learned the basic of the Python, that how we can, what is the basic part. So in the Python, the good point is that it is a very functional programming language, and you do not need to run 4 or 5 lines of code just to start with the coding. If you have the experience of say C, either C++, either C or C++ or Java or any other language, even to print a single, to do a print of single line, you have to minimum create 3 to 4 lines of code. In Python, this is not the case. You directly start doing the coding, like printing. If I need to do the print option, okay, this is how we start with the printing. Okay, so either you can run the cell, and option should be coming how we run the cell. So we can click on the run, we select the cell, and we click on the run, and the cell is run. And if you do not want, if you want to run very fast, you do not want to use this run button, and you would like that a shortcut. So shortcut is you need to put, just click shift plus enter. Using shift plus enter, it auto run the fast. So you do not need to click on again. Do not need to go to the mouse and take the cursor to run and then run. Simply go and shift enter. It will run the code directly. Okay, everyone. A simple shortcut.
Yes.
Now let's go to the data structure part, because Python is the whatever actions we are doing, we are going to have the data structure to be studied, that what kind of data structure are provided. So anyone can tell me what is the actually the data structure mean? What is the meaning of data structure? No one? There must be some idea of data structure.
The type of data that can be stored.
Sorry?
Type of data that can be stored.
Type of data that can be stored. Okay, yes, it is a data storage kind of thing. Yes, anyone else?
Way of organizing data.
Way of organizing the data, yes, you can say. So yes, data structure is like this. It is data structure is nothing but how we store the data so that it can be used later in the program. So it is a kind of data storage in the memory. Okay, not on the file system, but in the memory. Just like we have stored this file on our disk, and similarly during the programming, we need a lot of data to be manipulated. So how we will access the data, how we will read the data, how we will write the data. So this is also something which is taken care by the data structure, which is provided by every programming language. Similarly, in Python, there are many data structure which are available. Every data structure have their own say benefits and their own purpose to in the programming language. Okay. Now, one of the most important data structure inside the and that I use the most of the time is the list. List is same as we have studied in our academics during C and when we studied C++ or something. So it is the same. Okay. Anyone aware of what is a list? Anyone would like to say something about the list structure?
List is just like an array in the C or any language. It's a mutable type of data structure.
Yeah. So list is something is a kind of a data structure which is containing, yes, as you said, the array. But array, the difference between array and the list is that array is of fixed size. However, a list is not of the fixed size. You can change the size of the list dynamically. You can allocate it more memory on the runtime, which is not the case with the arrays and all. Okay, when you will study the array, numpy arrays and all. So in array, we have to define the size in the beginning, that how much data will be stored in the array. But this is not the limitation with the list. we can have dynamically allocate the list.
Yeah, dynamic key allocation.
Yes. So one of the good thing about the list inside the Python is that we can have mix of data. Usually this is not true with any other programming language like C, C++, and Java, where they need one kind of data in the list. But now look at the here in this list one. Here we are storing not only the numeric but also the string as well in the same list. Okay, and how we define the list is simply we are not providing any data type. We do not need to provide that what kind of data is something like okay. We are simply saying physics, chemistry, and then another important part is this bracket, square bracket here and a square bracket here. Okay, so this is how we have created the list. Fine, and another way of same data is the list too. So how we will access the list? And another question is that how we access the list. Once we have defined it, so there are many ways to that we can access like this. So let me put here. So this is simply by index. So index we have the list 2. When it will be 2, what will be printed? What is the index? This particular literal is actually the index. So index start from 0. So we have 0, 1 and 2. So when we will say 2, it will give me the element 3. And if I will say element 0, it will give me the 1. So here it is giving me the 1. Okay, indexing is clear in the list.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and now if there's sometime options come that we need to find the some say range of element in the list. If you need to identify from index some 1 to index 4, this is another syntax which give me element from 1 and then this till 4, but it is not 4, it is actually the minus 1. 4 minus 1 equal to 3. So this particular index will give me 0, 1, that is starting from chemistry, and it is 4. So we have 4 element. It will give me 3. So it will 0, 1, 2, 3. So till 2000 only. So this is the last column. Okay. If I add one more, say 3000, still it will give me the till 2000 only. It is not 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. When we say 4, it is always less. It is exclusive. So last index after the colon is the exclusive. Okay, everyone. Now create your own list and just try to find element from. If I need to have the element say only 1997 and 2000. So what will be the value I have to provide? Anyone can put, you can put on chat as well. Got my question? I need to
List 1 to column 4.
So I need only 1997 to 2000. So it will be you can put on the chat as well. Please everyone, let's put on the chat. I need to print only 1997 and 2000. So what will be the syntax for this? Good, sure. Okay. Yes, so it will be 0 to 4. So let's test it as well. So we have 2, 4. Yes, perfect. So we have 1997 and 2000. So in most of the time in the program, what happens that sometimes we are not aware that how long is the list, and we would like to know that we need to start from somewhere till end. Okay. So this is the range. Start colon end, and here is the range. Start till end. Okay. This is the column. So sometimes you may have look at the syntax in the net that it is some numeric and then the colon. What it means is that we need to subtract the list starting from the index till the end. So these kind of indexes come very handy because sometimes what happens during the data wrangling is that we need to just extract some of the data from the list from some portion. If we do not need all the data, but conditionally we need that, okay, this index to this index, from X index to Y index, only data is needed. So this is how we can get the data. Okay. And another part is if you need to modifying the list. So how we can modify the list? At the moment we are modifying a list by index. So any list can be modified by the index. So here we need to provide the index, and this will automatically put 0. For example, here we have the 0. So it is a physics here, and I will put 0 as a 500 or say 1500. So it will print me the 1500 here, and then chemistry and other data. This is how you can modify the a existing list. Okay. Okay, everyone, is clear? Now another point which comes that here we are only modified the data, but one of the important part of is that how we can add the data inside the list. So there is another option for adding the data. Here it is, we use append. So in this we are adding the data using the append command. This is append, and it automatically add the data inside the existing list. So this is a list one object which has been declared here in the cell line here, and here we have added it inside the existing list. So let's add it. So we have this 1500, and this is a added new element inside the list. Okay, is this clear to everyone? So now many times it happens that how we can get the some more. Those these are not the only one. command. So one of the good site that you will find is so these are data structure, and then the data structure of the list. We have many append, remove. We can remove command, pop, clear by the index, count, sort, reverse, copy. So these are the operations which are available inside the list. Okay. So based on your need, you can find many of. So we can remove as well a particular value. We can insert as well a particular value. We can append. We have seen extend the list by appending all the elements from a table. So these are the different other commands that can be found. If we need to find the length of the list, how we can find? Anyone has any idea how we can find the length? I think it is length. Okay, so this is a 6. The length is how to find dynamically the length of the any particular list. So these are the most of the use command actually, which you will be needing in the list part. Okay. And one of the good part to do practice a little bit more, you can go to the learn Python python.org. So in learnpython.org, we have the basics. So they have provided you a lot of other say, their data science tutorial as well, NumPy array. This advanced part we do not need to do a lot. The only part that you need to do is learn the basics and the data science tutorial. So this is important. Okay, so I'm putting this site on chat so that everyone has the chat. Okay. So this is just for your practice at home work. Okay. So to rename file, you can directly rename from here. Rename. So here the file name which is coming, it may be coming as a untitled. So by clicking here, you can rename the notebook. Okay, so now till now I hope list data structure is clear to everyone. Let me know if something is not clear. The syntax of adding the syntax of defining the list and then modifying data and accessing data. Is it okay? I consider it as yes. Another part of data structure is called tuple. Now, tuple is a very less data structure to be used. You do not find it much used, but you must be aware of what actually it is. So what happened in the tuple is that this is read-only list, I will say. What does it mean? That once we define a tuple, you cannot modify it. Okay. So, however, there is a very syntax difference is also there to create a list. How we created the list? We use the let me put. So list is created by like this. We have the square bracket, right? Now for tuple, it is created by parenthesis. So this is the difference. It is square bracket and here it is parenthesis. So this is what is the difference. So here we have the parenthesis and we have defined in the same way as list, except we have the parenthesis. Okay, here we have the square bracket. So this is the only difference on how to create a tuple. The way of accessing is same as in the list. Now the only difference is we were able to modify the list by index. We take the index, we put the value 1500 and we are able to modify it. Okay. Now if we try the same operation here like this, so we will get the error. This I have already put it like the tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay. Now you may be asking that what is the use of tuples in that case? Can anyone answer this question? What is the use of tuple in that if we cannot modify once initialized? Anyone please? What could be the benefit?
If we want to put some constant value, then we can use tuple.
Yes, right. So this is just to initialize some constant. So this is where it is used a lot. So all the packages that already there, like sklearn and any other packages which are used that we use, they are using tuples a lot, where they do not want that the data can be modified by the uh, uh, any other programmer. So they make it constant. So read only so that it cannot be changed. The same you can use. Concept is open for everyone. We can use or we can create our own program. When we work in a team, we would like to create in our own program where we want that okay the values should not be modified by any other programmer, and it should be taken only the pre-specified data only for my method or my code which I have created. So to keep the data, to keep the programming your code safe. Okay, so this is the only purpose that we make constant. How to define the constant is the one of the way. Tuple is one of the way. Okay. And now we go to the another important and very important object, which is called dictionary. So in the dictionary is very important. So anyone aware of the key value pair? What is the meaning of the key value? So every data element is accessed by some key. At the moment, as we saw in list or tuple, we are just accessing it by the index, which is generated internally by the Python only, because we are accessing element by 0, 1, 2, 3, which is internally generated by and created by the Python. But suppose you would like to have some data where we provide our own index to access the value. So in the very layman term, we call it the dictionary, where we create the key and value pair. So this is how the basic key and value pair is created. Oh, sorry. Take the cell above, like this. So if we need to create some dictionary, so the important part before I put here is this. Here we put the curly braces. Okay, everyone. So here we are defining the key, and then how? Then we say this, and then we say this. So here is a key, and here we put the value. It could be integer, string, anything. And if this is the one set, if we need to put another key, we can say like this, key2. We some other can say like this, key3. So value 2, 3, right? So the syntax is clear for dictionary. Okay. Now here we have defined one dictionary, and in this one dictionary, we have defined different keys like this: name, age, class, and again the class. So what will happen in that case? We have the name, we have age, we have class, and again the class key. So this is really important to understand that if the same key is used again for the data, then it is overwritten by the last value of the key. Okay. So if we have put the class first and class second, so key will remain the same. Key must be unique in a dictionary. Key is a unique, just like the index that we were using were unique in tuple or in list. Similarly, the key is unique inside a dictionary. Okay. So if if the same key is assigned some new value, then the last assigned value will be reflected for that key. So here, for example, I have put a class. So this is how we access a particular value. We use dictionary and then the value of key. And this is also a case sensitive. Here it is a name. So I put it say small. What will happen? I got the error. That's the key error. NAME doesn't exist. Because the key is like capital N and then this is a sentence case. Okay. So this is the difference here. So we have the name, it should be as a capital A, and then I will be able to access. And the good thing is that we are assigning the string as well as the integer. We can assign any data type. Okay. So when I say any data type, let's do one practice here. Just create at your end one dictionary which take here a list, some list. Let's see if some list is taken or not. Create a list and assign as a key in that key as a list object, and show me that how it is printed. One by one you can create this, and let's see that who access it. Let's see how the output is coming. because in Python we can assign any value. So it can be list as well, because we are just we are providing the string, we are providing the say integer value. So this key, particular key, can contain the list as well. Can you please check, everyone? Is it possible or not? Is my question clear to everyone? That what I am asking you to do a practice, just to do the code, that in a key, create a list first, and that list assign into a key, and then print that and that then print that key having the list. Let's see what is coming. You can put the output on chat as well. Okay, Saurabh, that's good. So we have name 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yes. So as you see that this provides the flexibility that we can assign not only a simple basic data type, but we can assign a list as well, or a tuple as well, or any kind of data structure as well. Okay, so this example was just to give you the flavor that it is very flexible, and different kind of lists can also be assigned to different kind of keys. So this is something used a lot. I have come through different scenario during my experience and practice in code, that dictionary and a different data structure are used within different data structure to have the data manipulation and data wrangling and all. Okay, is it clear to everyone? So these are the basic data structure that we have: the dictionary, list, and what we have is the tuple. Now what I need from you is one more say example: a list of lists. So we create a list one. We create not list one, not list one. Then we create a and the list 2. Then we create another list, say 3, contain list 1 and list 2. How we can create this kind of list? So we have list 1 and list 2, something list 1 and list 2 like this. And how we can initialize the list 3, which contain list 1 and list 2. So if I say it is as 1, 2, 3, and this contains the 1, 3, 5, and it contains 4, 6. And I need to create the list 3, which contain list 1 and list 2. So give me the code that it give me list 3, which contain list 1 and list 2. How we will do? How we will initialize? And then print list 3. So what I need as output? Output should be like 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. Okay. So just give me the code. You can put on chat as well. Okay, so you are saying plus 3. I don't think so. It works. Let's see this code. So this plus. Sorry. No. And Abhishek, this is a list 1 plus list 3. It is printing.
Sorry, sir, I didn't get you.
So I'm just printing it. So this is a code list 3 equal to say list
Yes, it
1
will print.
list 1 plus list 2. Sorry. Print okay. Hash. There is a list 1 already defined. That is why it's okay. So we have 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. And another part was which is another example given is this one. Now there is a difference in these two syntax. So this was another syntax. Now what will happen in that case? You see, it contains a list of list. what is happening here, that we as an element we are printing it, we are adding it, not appending it like here in the last cell number 20 here. Here we are appending the list, and what we are doing here, we are defining list of list. We are not appending. Okay, and that is why it is coming like this. This is a list, and this is another list. But this is also a good one of the, in many scenario we got the data structure where we need have a list of lists. Now good thing is that you can access this by index as well. Now the 0 will give me only 135, and the 1 will give me only 246. Okay, got it? So these are the benefit, that here, as earlier in dictionary we added the list. Here the good one example is that we are adding the list of list to another part, where one data structure is used in for the same data structure. Here list, we are assigning creating list of list only. Could be useful in many scenarios. Okay, this is just one of the examples. So this is good practice, I hope. Everyone, is it good? Okay,
Okay, sir.
fine. So let's go to another. These are some of the good operations. You will find some more interesting in learnpython.org. So this is just to give you very basic syntax, so that later when we go to the practice, you are aware of all the syntax that we are using. Okay. And now these are a very simple if else. So I'm beautifying my code on the runtime. Okay, that looks good. Now this is a part of if statement. So if I put like this, so it is not printing anything. So what is the important part is this colon at the end is really important. And how many if how many statement this if contain is determined by this space which is in front of the print. So let's say if I say I keep it I change it to say 101, and then I put, so it is printing me these two statements. Now if we would like that only one statement should be there, so it will be go like this, and I say I put it 100. So I will get only the welcome to ML world. It is printing only this statement, and this particular statement is ignored. Even if I print say print second, it is not printing because these two blocks, these two print is inside the if block only. And why it is in the if block? Because this is because of this tab. This is the tab space which is causing them in the same block. Okay, this is clear. And if we need to print else, so we just keep the else, semi this colon, and then this, and we can have the same here. Print else 2. Okay, now these two are in the same if else. If I go, it will print in else 2, and the last statement, which is outside the if block. Okay, this is how the if else works. The only way to keep many statement inside if is that we need to keep it separated by the tab, and it come automatically. You do not need to do like this, but it come automatically once you put colon here. So it cursor do not goes to the in the beginning. It just come one tab space apart. Okay, like this. So always go like this. If you need to do again, then you can go here. Okay, it is quite simple if else statement. And okay, I hope this is clear to everyone. Very simple. And another part is the variable definition. So variable definition is quite easy inside the Python. Just like other language, we do not need to provide type of the data. Usually, most of the language ask to provide to define what kind of data type we are going to create, what kind of variable we are going to create. So that is either we put here like we say int or something, or string or something in different languages. We do not need this. We simply assign variable some values and it automatically interpret it or create that kind of say data type, data variable. So here it will automatically change it to the integer. Here it will automatically put it float, and the third one it will automatically keep it as a string or object. Okay, so this is simple definition way of defining the variable inside the Python language. I hope this is clear till now. Any question? Anything that you think is can be added or till now, or anything which is not clear, let me know. Yes, no, everyone please. Abhishek, Ghazal,
No,
Pankaj,
sir. No, sir.
Sarthak, Saurabh, everyone please.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. So from here we can move. And the one important point is the string. Sometimes people get confusion that whether we should use a single quote or the double quote to define the string. You can use anyone. There is no restriction. You can use anyone to have this. But in case you want that string to be part of the data, if you want this quote to be part of the data, then you have to define like this, as I highlighted here. Okay. So in this way, this become as a part of the data. Sometime if needed, sometime in any scenario if it is needed, then you can use it. Okay, and I don't know what name it to give, but it is a kind of continuous assignment, I will say. You have seen this, may have seen this code many times if you have gone through the Python. The good thing is that in a single line you are able to assign data to different variables. Now here we have A, B, and then we have 3, comma 4.5. So what it is doing, it is assigning here A, the value 3, and 4.y will be assigned to the B, like this. So these are problems. Sometimes in the problem like this, what will happen? Too many value to unpack. So during the next few lessons or during the next few months, whenever we will do the coding, so this kind of error you may get. So this is always remember that why it is happening, that maybe we are doing too many values to unpack. Sometimes what happens that we are using different APIs, which is giving me back some data, and they provide many values in return. So one important part in the Python is that you can return many variable from a function, which is not so in the language that we have studied like C, C++, Java. I have studied only these three, so I'm talking only these three. Maybe it is a functionality in some other, like a Scala. I know that there is a kind of thing. So what happens? A function can return many values. Three, which is more than one value means. Usually, when we return So let me give you the idea that how functions. Suppose if I create a tab in my function, and so it can return the value like this: x, comma y, comma z. Okay, this is a function, simple function, and x, y, z can be written from the function. So I say x equal to 1, y 2, 3, plus, and I need to know that what is written. So we can say a, comma b, comma c equal to function. So it has given me what values it will give me. It will print a, b, comma c. Okay. So look, my function is able to return more than one values. And suppose if we are doing like this, so I will get this error: too many values to unpack. So it means that function, either function is returning more value, or you are more value and we have the less variable here. Or if I put like this will also give me the same error, because function is returning only 3 values, but I am having the 4 variable. We have defined I have defined 4 variable to this. So this will be the problem, could be on either side. Okay, this point is clear to everyone. So many times we got this kind of error and people got stuck, waste their time. So this is what happens. This is the cause that why it is this error is coming, that not enough value comes. So even if you will find on the, if I go here and I search for the Google, look, there are so many queries on the data, even on the Kaggle, not enough value, not enough value, not enough value. So there are many query on the Stack Overflow, like this is Stack Overflow, yes, and there are many things. So now these are now you are aware that you can save your time, that why this kind of error is coming. Okay. I hope this point is clear. Let me know if it is not clear. Yes, no, everyone, please.
Fine.
Right, clear, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so we will come to function definition later as well, but this is way I have just simply created to demonstrate that how we can, what kind of error can come and what could be the cause. Because this kind of syntax is very common, and error can also be there. And now let's come to the one of the most say is that okay, this is more for loop. For loop kind of. So this is one of the way to access the list as well. So suppose if I have one list of the prime numbers, say 2, 3, 5, 7, and I would like to accept the list one by one. So how we can do this? So let's say I find this easy to name should be good. Where is Venus? This is the list. For loop is quite easy here. For this is some kind of variable inside it, and in the prime list. So this is the prime list here and here. Now we are for looping on the prime list and printing the prime. So this is one way to access the list. Okay, is it clear? That how we access? Now what I need from you, that we created one list like this. We create a list of lists and one by one print, iterate over the list 3 and then print the list 1 and list 2. Okay, this is the assignment that you do just now. So what we need to do, we create one list, iterate over list 3 and print all values of list 1 and list 2. Problem is clear to everyone? Let me know if problem is clear. We need to define the list 3. We need to iterate over the list. And then we need to print all the values inside the list 1 and list 2. Keep odd number in this or even number in this. And we have this list of lists and we need to iterate over it. So let's do it, please, and put it all your code on. Okay, guys. So let's do like this. Let me see that if anyone has any problem in the for loop, so it will be easy. We do just a simple practice here today, just now. Anyone has any problem, any issue facing in stretching? Let me know. Please put your code on chat. Let me see the code as well. Yes, now in this one. No. Here you have made a mistake. Mm, So you do not need to put two for loop because we are not using the num variable here. Okay, so let me put the code here, but I don't know it is not getting copy paste. Coming all, but the code which is given to me is like this. No. Okay, can you ping me, Saurav, on 1-to-1? Because in this way I can copy the whole code. Sure. Okay, so here I have some issue, but okay, I will. Oh, it is not copying at all from here. So very strange. Mm. Maybe you can put Saurav on our WhatsApp group, if possible, from the web WhatsApp. I'm not sure. Because I'm not able to copy it from here. So we see. Okay, but this will. So this is a code. Because of so what is happening here, Saurabh, is that we are not using the num now. Just printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is fine, but you have put the 2 for loop. What I need is that we just need to do one for loop. So one for loop is for this list, which is the list 3, and another for loop is like this. So, but here what we need to do, we need to use this now num. So you need to put like this. You have to put like num, and then we can print num1, something like this. Okay. I think I got it. Okay, you got a mistake. So we need to now num is taking first the list, this one. Another loop will come, then it will take the list 2, which is coming in this list. So you can, if we do not need to use this, you can directly use like this. So let's keep it now like that. Now this is good because you have put this list here like this, so it is creating another list of list 3. Okay, so that is why it is coming like 2. So we need to keep only like this. Okay, so this was a mistake here. So now this is a good. This is a syntax that we have to use. Okay, everyone, we have the for num in list 3. So one by one it will go to this object. So this is another loop. So num1 will, first time it will num contain the list 1. Then the second time it will come in this here. Then it will contain the loop list 2. And then we are printing the num1, which is this. So we are printing all the element of num1 in this loop. Okay, first it will print the list 1, and next time it will print the list 2. Okay, everyone, is it clear to everyone? Please say yes, no, or not clear. Let me know.
That's clear.
Everyone? Yes. So the first mistake was the for loop. For two for loop was not needed, and another mistake was this, that we are putting the another square bracket again. So it is creating the third list. So it will be like list of list of list. Okay. So we do not need to do this. So in the for loop, we just need to keep the name of the variable. That's all. And here we are putting the simply putting 2 for loop. Okay, so this is good. Till now, a little bit of practice. Is it okay for you guys? Let's go to another part. It was a for loop on the list. Let me find it for loop. And now we need to do most of the time for list on the dictionary. Yes, because what happens that suppose we have created some dictionary by we are working on some data structure, or consider the scenario that we have some dictionary coming to us, that is in code we are coming back with some dictionary, and we would like to know, we would like to iterate over the dictionary. So how we will iterate over it? We do not know the key. So in the previously, if I go here, where we were, here we define one dictionary. Let's define it again. Okay, let's take one define. Okay, I put. Now what we need to do, we need to iterate over this list, over this dictionary. We already know that this particular dictionary exists. Okay, this particular dictionary, we are at the moment we have created a small dictionary having 3 keys or some keys here. But we would like to know that what are the values inside for each. Uh, uh, let's say what are the keys inside each in the dictionary, or what are the values inside the dictionary. So this is a very much syntax which is used a lot. That we define the for loop. We put the variable name kv. You can put any name in. It is a dictionary dot item. So this is a dictionary dot items we use. And when we put the v, it print me all the values. And when we put the say hash, it give me all the keys. Okay, so these are the keys which is coming to me. And when I need to print both, okay, we can print both. So we are getting the name key plus value. Okay. So this is quite use syntax that we use a lot to for loop the looping the dictionary as well. So the last assignment of today, and then we will start the pandas and other tomorrow. Let's create a dictionary. I put here. Of two lists. The key will be say odd, and another key is of say even number list. Okay, one key is odd, key one is odd, which contains the odd number list, and another key is say even, which contains the even number list, and create the dictionary like this. Okay, first create the list, simple to list, which is say odd list or an even list. Then we create the key like this odd. One we contain the key odd, and another key say even, and another, and create another list say prime. Okay, and we will keep the key 3 as say prime. Fine. Now give me the code which say iterate over dictionary. and print only element of, or say not element, or say data of given list. Is it clear to everyone? Yes, no? Hello?
Yes, sir, clear.
Is the question clear to everyone? So guys, those who are not able to do right now, I will share this Python notebook with you all. And what we have done here, so you can practice a little bit on this sheet as well as on the sheet which on the learnpython.org as well. Okay, on the learnpython.org we have many basic syntax, and you can run there your code and all this part. So what I am this assignment contains now a flavor of for loop, dictionary, list, and the if condition. Okay, it has everything now. That we need to iterate over the dictionary. First we need to create a list, then we need to iterate over the dictionary. We need to create a dictionary, then we need to iterate over the dictionary, and we need to print only the element list. So when the key is even, when the key is even, then only we need to print, else we need to skip. Okay, so let's see who will do this first. Give me the code. Or all of you can share the desktop, your notebook here right now. You can share. You can see that what everyone is doing, if you are okay with it. I think you can share as well. Everyone can share. I stop sharing. Then everyone I can enable. So anyone can share your screen and can show me the code. Okay. So rather than not do not put on the chat, share your screen and show us the code. So I have unshared. You can anyone of you can share when you are ready, or you can show us the work in progress as well if you need. So guys, anyone please let me know if a problem is not clear or any question regarding the problem. Okay. Problem is clear to everyone? Abhishek, Pankaj, Sarthak, Saurabh, Shamsher. Everyone has the. I forgot the name. I missed the name. Which is appearing as iPhone.
This is me only, Shamsher.
Sorry.
This is Shamsher.
Okay. 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 You are connected from two places, I think.
Yes. I
Okay.
just connected from my laptop here.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
So everyone, Abhishek, Shamsher, Pankaj, Sarthak, Saurabh, is problem clear that what we need to code?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So whoever completes first, please share. Hope you are comfortable with this way. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Can you see my screen? Rajnish, sorry.
Yes, I am able to see. Sorry, I was on mute. I am able to see the screen. What I said that here, this is a good way. This is what we need to do. And one point here is that when we have printed the list, it is printing the complete object. It is not printing each element. Suppose we need to access each element. So inside where we have put the print, we need to put another for loop. So let's put another for loop. And in the for loop, we say we access each element one by one.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how we just need to do that. We have created a different list. We have created different. We created one dictionary and assign each odd, even, and prime keys, and conditionally we are printing. Okay. And tomorrow we will. So this is. I hope it is clear to everyone now that how it needs to be done. Abhishek, Pankaj, Sarthak, Saurav, is it clear
Yes, sir.
to you?
Yes, sir.
Code is
Sure.
clear, I think.
Yes, yes.
Yes, quite. This is simple one. So let's keep till here today. And tomorrow, what we need to do next is we will go. One important aspect is still remaining is how to define and create the function inside the Python, because this is something very much needed when we do the modular code. So we will we simply today even see a little glimpse that how we define the function that can be used. We will see how can we use it later as well. That what practical aspect are there, that how function can be used to modularize the code. Okay, and this is simple and basic syntax that we did today. To go in more detail and to practice your own, you can follow the learnpython.org that I shared, I think, where let me share my screen as well. So in the Learn Python, we have many basic syntax. There is learn the basic and there is some data science. So data science you don't do today. Just follow these basic syntax that you can go through. Okay, you do not need to put the classes and object and modular package. Just accept classes and object and modular package. You can practice on other bullets which is mentioned. Okay, everyone. So this is for today. Let me know if you have any question till now for from the agenda of the today that we have done.
Okay. Thanks, Rajnish.
Okay. So what we will do tomorrow? So let's see what we will do tomorrow. So we will go through the pandas library, how we go pandas, how we read the files, how we check in the data format, what kind of different creation is this, how we access different kind of say function in this, how we can do the charting and all, and inside the Panda, what kind of function can be used, how we can filter the data, how we can do drop and selective filter, selective collections, selective and all. Okay, so this is something really needed. We will do in advance, and this is a basic that will be needed in the coming practices. Okay, and more of the other syntax which is advanced, we will see, we will go through when we will do the programming, when we will create the model. And okay, guys. So we close for today, and we meet at the same time tomorrow. Okay.
Thanks, Rajneesh. Rajneesh, can you share this recording as well as the notepad?
Yes, I will share this with everyone. I will share it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks. Good night. See you. Bye bye.